Good afternoon and welcome back to another video. In the last flight we flew with United on one of their 787-10 Dreamliners. Fast forward about 6 weeks and it's time to check out the -10 Dreamliner with ANA. Unlike many airlines, ANA and Japan Airlines both have aircraft configured for domestic and international routes. And we'll check out the former as we're heading off to Fukuoka. And it's been some time since I was actually there. The flight is set to depart at 5 p.m. so come along as we go from A to B and let's see what's happening with ANA in 2025. We are once again back in Terminal 2 of Tokyo Haneda, home to ANA and a few small regional carriers such as Airdo and Solaseed. It was a pretty busy afternoon at the airport, but everything seemed to be chugging along without any disruptions. Terminal 2 also facilitates some ANA international flights, and I didn't know this part of the airport even existed until a few weeks ago. I've seen pictures of this area, but I was unaware it was from this terminal. The move to facilitate international flights out of Terminal 2 was to smooth connections between ANA's domestic and international network. But it's worth noting that not all ANA international flights depart from here, with Terminal 3, previously the international terminal, still handling the bulk of international destinations, especially if we consider Star Alliance and code share connections. We aren't going that far today, but the large windows at this part of the airport does provide some nice views, doesn't it? And there's actually a Starbucks and a nice bookstore on the second floor. The observation deck provides equivalent, if not better views, and a visit was in order. And we can see our aircraft already parked at the gate. Back inside and at the domestic end of the terminal, the mezzanine has a wide selection of eating and drinking establishments, where many are enjoying a meal or drink before their flight. Unlike airports in Canada or the States, the bulk of the shops are located streetside rather than by the gates. And should you want something for your flight, there's a wide selection of bentos to grab on your way, located on the main floor. Anyway, with no bags to check, this was a quick one-night trip, and a boarding pass on my phone, these kiosks are going to have to sit idle a little while longer, and it's as good a time as any to get through security. Today we're departing at gate 57 on the west side of the terminal, and here's our Dreamliner hiding behind the double glass walls. Now before we get on board, we gotta gather some resources for the flight. ANA and Japan Airlines operate stores in the airport for passengers to pick up any provisions while they wait for their flight, or to enjoy on board, rather than providing an extensive in-flight menu. It's a model that I haven't seen outside Japan, but it appears to work well for both airlines. And it's also a good place to stock up on some ANA swag as well. All stocked up, it's time to get on board. And as we make our way to the plane, I'll take this moment to welcome new viewers to the channel and invite you to subscribe for continued aviation and travel related content. You'll be able to check out one-of-a-kind experiences like the Tohoku Emotion, a lovely sightseeing train in northern Japan with some of the best food I ever had on the rails, with sights to match. Today we'll be seated in 40A for our flight to Fukuoka. Today we're on a relatively new, less than 1-year-old 787-10 Dreamliner. Currently there are 8 in their fleet. ANA operates these planes with 2 configurations, one for domestic and one for their international network. The domestic aircraft that we're on tonight has an impressive 429 seats across 2 classes with 6 lavatories on board. This is their second largest aircraft in their domestic fleet, with only the 777-300 seating more. But those planes are destined to be retired, which will leave the largest variant of the Dreamliner as the largest aircraft in their domestic fleet. It's about 2 hours gate to gate to reach Fukuoka from Tokyo. The economy cabin is laid out in a 3-3-3 seating configuration over 35 rows. The cabin has a clean, fresh appearance with blue and white lighting and dark blue seats. Several monitors throughout the cabin provide flight information. These seats are ANA's newest iteration of the domestic economy hard product, designed by a subsidiary of Toyota. And the only difference between these seats and the ones found on internationally configured Dreamliners is the lack of an adjustable headrest. The seats were comfortable, if not a bit on the firm side, but that's understandable given that they're relatively new. Seatback has the largest display I've ever seen in an economy seat, and that's because it is. Coming in at 13.3 inches, you won't find a larger screen in an economy class seat on any other airline in the world. I mean, it beats out some IFE systems found in some business classes, but more on the IFE system in a few moments. Under the screen is the table, and you can see it has a cutout for the drink, and below is a double pocket which has a safety card in addition to my belongings. Seat pitch comes in at, I actually don't know. I couldn't find the specs for the domestic configured aircraft, but the website mentions 34 inches for the international configured economy, so this must be pretty close. On this flight, I had a whole row to myself, so I enjoyed the extra space while I could. Each seat comes with its own power outlet, which is nice to have since some airlines provide only 2 for a 3-seat set. And above you have the reading light. Overall, the cabin has a fresh and clean appearance and still has that newness to it, if I can say that. I always enjoy the openness the Dreamliners provide, and going with the large IFE screen is a great choice for economy, and providing a power outlet at each seat also didn't go unnoticed. Alright, time to dig into a little snack on this flight. As I mentioned earlier, ANA operates shops in airports for passengers to pick up snacks, and this is where I found some munchies this evening. On board is a quick drink service, and I went with a simple cup of green tea. I'm always looking to try something new, so I picked up a box of kintsuba. It's a traditional Japanese sweet with red beans and tea. It has a fairly light profile and not overly sweet, but as you can imagine, the tea was a good beverage to go with the snack. And how can you go wrong with some potato chips? Now all there is to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the fleeting moments of daylight. And here's a look at the one lavatory at the rear of the plane. And you get the full countertop, which is something that Boeing doesn't have for all models of the lavatory. And it was a bit turbulent at this time. You can see the soap splashing around. I kind of had to brace myself there for a few moments, but better get back to the seat. Safely back in 40A, I can now show you the IFE. Besides being the largest screen in economy, the screen is very crisp and the system is smooth as butter. ANA provides some live TV channels, including CNN.
CNN? Oh, I didn't see.
There's a small selection of TV shows and movies, mostly local content, but there's a small subset of Western shows. With most domestic flights under 2 hours, the library appears in line with routes the plane services. Having a digital copy of the Inflight magazine available on the IFE system was a smart move, and you can read past issues too. The feature for February was Northern Lights in Yellowknife. Yes, the small Northern Territory capital has quite the reputation in Japan for seeing the Northern Lights. Have you seen them as vibrant as we see here? There is also complimentary Wi-Fi on board domestic flights, where you have access to the live TV and in-flight content, in case watching on the largest screen in economy isn't your thing. And of course, there's the moving map. And with that, our trip is coming to an end. We did get about 15 minutes of bonus time as we were in a holding pattern before being cleared to land. And in a comfortable cabin like this, who am I to complain? I hope you enjoyed ANA's domestic economy experience as much as I did. It's simple and an easy way to travel. In a country where most domestic flights are 2 hours or less, the product is designed for efficiency while providing elements of comfort. The Dreamliner is a lovely plane, which of course I've flown on many times, and I've enjoyed experiencing their new domestic product. What are your thoughts about having the convenience stores rather than the in-flight menu? Regardless of the airline you fly in Japan, you'll be treated to top-notch customer service. I've yet to fly ANA in any international economy flight, but between that and the selection of bentos at the ANA convenience stores, I've got a lot more flying to do. This was a round-trip itinerary from Tokyo to Fukuoka, with the price coming up to 36,420 yen, with about 10,000 yen being the ticket for this particular flight. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on ANA's domestic economy product, and I'll catch you in the next video.